while somebody's speaking how you'll act. So maybe think about it. Do you need to move? You can. Your spots. Alright. Okay, so first up, we have Nehemiah. Nehemiah is driven, he's resilient, and he's always pushing himself to learn and grow. He's a leader among his peers in the classroom and on the court. And I've been impressed with his growth in just this year alone. I know you all will enjoy hearing what he has to share. So without further ado, Nehemiah Friedman.
Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. Paul Brand. I originally heard this quote from NBA star Paul George, and it gave me inspiration. My biggest fear of all is being average. Growing up, I've always desired to be the best version of myself. Better than the best is what I've always shot for. I've always believed that the only way is up, even if you hit rock bottom. Though I've been doubted, restricted, and denied by many people, I've been taught to keep my head up and never stop achieving my goals and dreams. One area that I've skyrocketed in these past few years is physical growth. Throughout my middle school years, I played in many different levels of school basketball. From the blowout wins to the nail biters, competing for your school is a very treasuring feeling that I hope to carry on in high school. Playing in the grade above my whole career has allowed me to make friends with some of the older kids who I'm now very close to. Last year was my personal favorite year. It's one I still look back on and think of the impact it has made on me as an individual athlete. It was the previous 8th graders last year in middle school basketball. Trials started, I trusted my skills and competed to get a starting spot on the gold team as the only 7th grader starting that year. When the team assembled, we were a very athletic, versatile, defensive-based team who could also light it up on the scoreboard. Going into our last regular season game, we were unfortunately low on guys due to COVID. The game was against Anchorage heading into the playoffs. We lost that game, finishing the regular season 14-1. I'd always wanted to finish a middle school season undefeated like my brother, but I fell short. I couldn't let one loss distract me from the primary goal, which was the championship. We were still the number 1 seed in the playoffs, which gave us the bye to the semifinals. We played Highlands Latin, who won against KCB the first round. We knew it would be a tough game playing against them the 4th time and remaining 3-0 against them. We also had no serious either, which was a big loss that day. Highlands Latin was hot the entire game, and we didn't get into a rhythm until late. Chris Mandy played his mind out since it was his last game being a collegiate Titan. I made some key plays down the stretch, but it wasn't enough as we got eliminated from the tournament. Final score was 55-48. It was a tough loss, one I'll never forget. Though we didn't win the whole thing, that season was so much fun and one I will never forget. Something that I've taken notice of when thinking about last season is to take nothing for granted, because it wasn't only the previous 8th graders' last middle school season, it was mine as well. Moving on this year in 8th grade, I got the opportunity to play junior varsity basketball. I expected to be the best player out there with my ego, but I got quickly humbled. My dad tells me countless times that nothing is given, and I was reminded of that. I was furious that I only played 5 games this year, though the experience of learning in each practice and playing kids 3 to 4 years older than me was a challenge that I enjoyed. All the trust and opportunity I got on that team from the older kids shaped me into a better player because I quickly learned from my mistakes and got better during every game. From all the turnovers to the made shots, even though we didn't win a single game, nor did I finish out the season due to a fractured finger, I'm grateful for the opportunity of playing JV basketball because it made me tremendously better. This ties back to my quote, don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon, because in order to reach and surpass your goals, you have to go above and beyond. Academics, something I dread, but I know is very beneficial. Middle school has really changed my perspective on academics, so now I'm just a tad bit more excited to come into class every day and work on new things. Growing up, I was a student who was always very talented, but didn't work hard at all in the classroom. That was before I entered collegiate. Throughout middle school, collegiate has disciplined me into becoming an all-A student. When I entered 8th grade, Mr. Beasley made English class seem like a living nightmare. Since then, I've come a long way with my grammar, writing skills, and reading comprehension. I was a subpar writer before I entered Mr. Beasley's class. He has helped enhance my sentences by teaching me new grammar components and varying the length of my sentences and essays. He's often challenged us with difficult quizzes and tests on the books we read that ask about very specific details in the book. There's a method to all his madness is how I describe his class because he wants us to fail. Not literally, but it's his way of helping us succeed in language arts. Mr. Beasley has a style of teaching that amazes me and always keeps me interested in his class. In class, Mr. Beasley is the most passionate teacher that I've ever been taught by, and inspires me to keep being passionate about what I believe in. Spanish is a subject that I've grown in tremendously since I've arrived at collegiate. It's the one subject that used to be my weak point, but now I refer to it as a strong suit. Senora Bones, Senor Nieto, and Senora Miles have been excellent teachers. They've helped me improve on my Spanish vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension. I can now speak Spanish decently fluent, and my previous teachers have encouraged me to keep being better at the language. The books that we read in class help my reading comprehension, and the Spanish lessons challenge me so that the quizzes and tests come easy to me. I want to thank the teachers in the Spanish department again for everything they've done for me and to get me at the proficiency that I'm at. I want to keep learning and growing in this language during high school, and I'm passionate about it. History wasn't a subject that came natural to me. To get good grades in history, I really had to work hard and study after class. With the busy schedule I have, Mr. Haas's class didn't start out the easiest since I didn't have time to review notes for quizzes or tests. My first semester assessment grade in history was mediocre at best. I knew that I could do better somehow, some way. I decided to focus my energy on being more involved in all class activities since it would benefit my time after school and I would grasp the concept better in class. I carried this on to every class moving toward the second semester, and it has worked like a charm for me. Mr. Haas has been very encouraging during this process, and he's always inspiring Jude, Patrick, and I to focus and pay attention more in class. I've had so much fun in history class this year. I want to thank Mr. Haas for all the memories and shaping me into a better student and person. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. This ties back to my quote because throughout my academic career, I've come to my senses and now I realize I can't settle for anything. I have to work hard, pay attention in class, and strive to be better. My social life mainly consists of the sport of basketball, but over the years, I've grown socially by making new friends and gaining new experiences. I'm lucky to still maintain many friends from my old school that I keep in touch with. I've also made many new friends at collegiate and grown stronger with the relationships and friends that I've made at the school. I'm also very fortunate to have a family that cares about me at all costs. As 13 and 14-year-old children, we sometimes don't realize how much we need family by our side because there are kids in the world who wish to have a family that cares about them. I've continued to grow closer with my family. I'm thankful for all the holidays we spend together, all the times where they support me at basketball events, all the tough times that we go through where we're all there for each other, and way more things that I appreciate. I want to thank my dad for being strong. He sacrificed so much for me and my brother, and sometimes it goes through our heads, but I want to thank him now while I can. I also want to thank all my grandparents for being the best grandparents I can ask for. My grandmother is very independent, and she has shaped me to the best version of myself that I can be. And both of my grandfathers are the best hangout partners to be with, whether you're watching a movie or if you need someone to speak your mind with. They're all very wise, and they give me great advice about life and opportunities, and I have so much fun around all of them. I'm very glad to have them in my life. Coach Friedman just came into my life recently, and he has been great to me. He has taught me way more stuff about basketball than any other coach. The thing that stands out the most about him to me is that all of his lessons translate to the world outside of us as well. His resume summarizes his greatness, and he gives me tons of opportunities to get better at the sport I love. I'm very thankful for the time I had with Coach, and I know that he will succeed wherever he goes. Lastly, to my brother Noah Sosa. From the rough backyard 1v1s to playing Madden against you, competing against you is very fun. And even when I get mad at you for correcting me all the time, deep down, I know you're the best brother that I can have, but also the only one. I'm lucky to have an older brother that helps me with everything and is right there for me always, no matter what. Ever since my mom died 5 years ago, I've gotten closer with everyone that I mentioned and many more people I'm so blessed to have in my life. Living 5 years without my mom is one thing I would never imagine doing in my life. The day I found out the news, I couldn't bear to think of what would happen in my life. Since then, I've come a long way. I've been introduced to the great school that I go to now. I've taken basketball more seriously with AAU ball, which has brought me way new opportunities. I've grown closer with my favorite people, things I would have never thought I'd be able to do. I've come to accomplish thanks to Christ. The day I lost my mom, I lost a part of me that I thought I'd never gain back. Life since then has been a bumpy roller coaster. There have been times where I wanted to quit or stop myself from doing something. Through the good and the bad days, talking to God before I go to sleep every night would help resolve all my problems. Even though there are unexpected things thrown into my life all the time, I know to trust God and to stick with Him because throughout everything, He has a plan for me. Throughout my middle school years, some main components that I've grown in are confidence, leadership, and adaptability. Younger me had always been a shy person who was afraid to speak their mind around others because I was always scared of what other people thought of me. I wasn't the most open-minded person, and I usually stay in my bubble. Middle school was a big component in boosting these factors because collegiate has inspired me to work hard and to try as many things as I want. As I continue to improve in basketball, school, etc., I want to ensure that I'm confident in my hard work and I keep building relationships as a leader in this community. When I lost my mom, I thought I wouldn't be able to reach the level of confidence that I've gotten to today. I want everyone here to know that you can't control or be afraid of what others think. Because all you need is to believe in yourself all the time, no matter what, and you can go a long ways. I've adapted to many sorts of people and situations in my life, which is why I'm the adaptable person that I am now. I've made different types of friends, and I've overcome a ton of problems and disagreements in my life. I've become the adaptable person I am now because I was taught early to treat others how I want to be treated. I know that this year I've been very consistent with that, though with those mistakes I've made, it's only given me more to learn from. I've always been told that I would grow up to be someone who's made an impact, and I've learned to be wise in my words and to try and make the right decision all the time. I'm very happy with my course of character development throughout middle school, and it's only something I'm going to focus on even more in my life. Honestly, I could go on talking about how I've been impacted during my middle school years. Often, people say that middle school had to be the worst years of their lives. Although my middle school years have had its ups and downs, it's turned out to be a great experience for me. I want to thank all the middle school teachers that I've had. Y'all make classes challenging and fun, which is very unique to find. Thank you for always believing in me no matter what and putting forth your full energy and focus into teaching me. Now I would like to thank everyone in the 2027 class. You've all made my middle school experience wonderful. We are all very distinct in our own ways, and I believe that our class is very bright. As a grade, we've had many fun memories and times together that I'll always cherish. I've made some of my best friends over here at Collegiate, and I believe that within our class, I've grown tremendously as a person. Thanks to everyone here who has helped me. I advise everyone here to try to better themselves throughout the rest of the year and throughout high school. I want everyone here to try to go above and beyond because it's the least you can do for yourself. Personally, I think that if you do more than expected, you'll be rewarded with great outcomes in life. Like the quote I mentioned in the beginning, don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. So go after what you want no matter the circumstances. I want to inspire everyone here not to give up on anything, even if there are challenges along the way, even if you feel like quitting, or maybe if someone tells you that you can't do something. The truth is that you can, if you put forth your full energy and effort into what you want to do, because nothing is impossible. I would like to dedicate this speech to many people since there have been a variety of folks who have been a great part of my journey. However, I have to cut it down to a select few. Mr. Haas, thank you for pushing me and disciplining me into the greatest version of myself I can be in and out the classroom. Coach Friedman, thank you for making the game of basketball much more easier, the process of pushing me out of my comfort zone and becoming a leader. Then to my brother Noah Sosa, thank you for making life easier for me and pushing me up the good brother and role model that he is. Thank you for listening.